The Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development is one of the major strategic ministry saddled with the responsibility of exploring and harnessing Nigeria's rich potentials in mineral resources. And this is to improve the economy for the common good. In this second part special interview with the Honorable Minister for Mines and Steel Development, we bring you deep insight into the efforts of the ministry to fully position Nigeria's mining and steel sector in the global economy. Let's hear him right away.
When I came here,
it was due
This situation significantly led to the twin problem of
the breakdown of the amount established to have been stolen and laundered.
What the federal government is doing is to provide.
Honorable Minister, you're welcome to Minister's Platform. But first, give us a brief but precise profile of yourself and your professional background.
well, I'm an architect by profession. I trained at the University of Lagos Architecture School. After school, I went through tutelage, late architect Lai Balogun, one of the prominent architects of those days, Modular Group. That's where I trained, and sometime in 1992, I went professional. I also, of course, went into construction. And of course, to cement that, I went back to university to obtain another master's degree in construction management, also at the University of Lagos. And that's what I was done all my life. From 92 up until 2011, I was practicing architecture and construction all over the country. Thank God I handled a lot of good jobs for the oil industry and for the banking industry. And then in 2011, I was asked to come and serve the people of Ogun State as a commissioner for works and infrastructure. And that's what I did for the next 8 years, 2011 to 2019. And then, of course, I was asked to come and serve at the federal level. And I was assigned to this ministry, Ministry of Mines and Steel Development.
The National Gold Purchase Scheme for artisanal miners was approved for execution by the presidency, and this was in 2019. But what are the main features of the scheme, and what is the impact on artisanal miners so far?
Well, what that project, it was called Presidential Initiative, PAGMI. Essentially, we realized that Nigeria has a lot of gold. You know, on the northwest, southwest axis of Nigeria, that vertical axis, there's gold there. From Zamfara to Niger, you have in Kebbi, you have in Osun here, you have in Ondo, Ekiti. So the northwest, southwest axis, you have a lot of gold. You have gold in Kwara, you have gold in Kogi. But we were not utilizing it. I mean, well, government was not realizing anything from that. A lot of illegal miners, they export our gold to the UAE. They don't take it out legally and all that. And we're having a lot of that. Even some foreigners, you have a lot of foreigners with particular stock, that were involved in this illegality. So government created what you call PAGMI, that initiative. Government puts money there and said, look, we have a lot of artisanal miners who are mining gold. The small winnings that they have, some people aggregate this illegally and they take it out of the country. So government now said, look, why don't we come in as a possibility to show the way that this can be done? This initiative is something that probably will go on for a while and then translate to private sector. But essentially what PAGMI does is we identify artisanal miners. So for the pilot, we started from Kebbi and Osun. All these artisanal miners and all that. And government encourages them. The first thing is I say, for gold, you need to know the source so that it's not illegal, the blood gold and all that. You need to know the source. You need to know that it's being mined legally. All the taxes, royalty dues being paid. The first thing we do is register them. We must know who they are. We get biometrics and all that. We open bank accounts for them. So once we know them and we know where they're working, then we can buy the gold that they realize. One thing, government sets a standard so they are not cheated. People who bought from them before were the people who cheat them because, you see, these are desperate people who needed money. So what is what X Naira they will buy for Y, of course, which is less. So what PAGMI was doing was to aggregate the gold from the artisanal miners and then take it to the LBMA standard. That is the gold bullion. We presented the bullion to President Muhammadu Buhari, which was sold to the CBN. So we created a situation where, like, look, the government of Nigeria can add to its foreign deposit base, not just through oil and gas, but even through gold. Because gold is a good reserve of money. So that particular bar was sold to the CBN. At that time, I think it was sold about 168 million naira. You know, that's the dollar equivalent then. But then today is worth about 250 million naira. So what PAGMI is demonstrated by that singular one that we did then, which of course is continuing. We're expanding it. We are doing Oshun, Kebbi. We'll go to Kaduna. Kaduna has gold as well. Niger is also part of that scheme. So that we get artisanal miners in those places, we aggregate their gold, and we refine it to LBMA standard, the gold bullion. And of course, each bullion has its unique identification, which is of course given by the London Bullion Market Association, that's the LBMA. They give each bullion its identification. It has a number, it has dates where it was refined from and everything. This is tradable on the market because it has value which is quoted on the New York Stock Exchange on a daily basis. You know what the price of gold is per ounce. 1 bullion is about 12 kilogram, thereabout. So basically that's what the PAGMI is all about, and it's a successful story.
We're aware that your ministry is actually working on a downstream mineral policy. What are the probable benefits of the policy, really?
Basically, it is to enhance import substitution, create jobs for our people. Because when you export the raw mineral, you're exporting the jobs out as well. But when you create a plant that process, it will employ people. So we create value locally. We create employment, we retain the value here, and then we also do import substitution because we don't have to use our foreign exchange to buy those materials anymore. Most of the materials used in industry, like I say, maybe about 99% are mineral-based. They are realized from minerals. So we have the minerals. Today, Nigeria has about 44 identified minerals and still counting. If we process to industrial grade, then we use them locally. And then, of course, we can also export and earn foreign exchange for the country. So what our downstream policy is all about that? To discourage the exportation of raw ore. Any ore that's brought out of the ground. Yes, the miner may not have money to also build a plant. Yes, he's got his ore out of the ground. He wants his money. He wants to sell. So you can't force him that, oh. So we are now encouraging investors to come in, help those miners. So what you just do is build your plant around the miners. That's why we took the kaolin plant to Bauchi, where the kaolin is being realized. So you don't have to transport far. You bring it out of the ground, take it to the plant, and then what comes out is industrial grade, which can be packaged easily in bags and transported to end users. Maybe the pharmaceutical industry in Kano, in Calabar, or in whatever it is. And then, of course, can also export the rest. Basically, that's what the downstream policy is all about. And it's to create jobs, earn revenue for government, and, of course, retain value within the country.
Okay, that brings me to the issue of revenue. You need to give us a picture. What is the Ministry of Mines and Steel bringing on the table? What's the level of financial contribution to the GDP?
Before the advent of oil and gas, the sector, mineral sector, was contributing about 5% to the GDP. But of course, that soon fell to less than 1%. As of today, we are doing less than 1% to the GDP. Well, part of the roadmap and the target set by the roadmap is that by the year 2025, we should do 3% to 5%. And we can even do more from the steel sector. If we get the steel sector up and running, with all this processing company that we are building and all that, it will create more opportunities, more employment, more value. Government realize the higher royalty and all that, and the export guideline. So we're on the right track to attain that target, 3 to 5% by 2025. And like I said, if the steel comes in with its own contribution, we could go as high as 15% of the GDP because steel is very big.
Well, one critical question that will be quite interesting to Nigerians, especially the unemployed. What is your estimate? Is the volume of jobs, or what's the volume of jobs that could be created annually if Nigeria actually processes solid minerals?
This sector has the capability of employing millions of Nigerians. I could tell you, for instance, Ajaokuta itself, if it comes online, the plant itself will employ 10,000 engineers. Because the blast furnace type is the one that works continuously 24/7. So you do 3 shifts on a daily basis. The capacity, by the time it's running at maximum capacity, is to employ 10,000 engineers in Nigeria. And of course, there are other people there. Now, this has a lot of downstream effects, because the moment you produce liquid steel, which is what Akuta is supposed to do, then you start making your own automobiles. Yes, because you can now do your engine block, you can do your panels of the vehicle, you can make anything that's made of steel. And, it enhances downstream like that. Not to talk of even in the building industry. You affect the building industry. So jobs are created that way. Also in minerals. With this plant we're building, for instance, the plant that government is building, we hope to employ a minimum of about 200 to 500 people in those plants, for the processing. But those are the people that work in the plant itself. It will also enhance more miners, because now the miner has a direct off-taker. They don't have to, in the past, they will struggle to process for export and all that before they realize the money. The importer from the other end will wait until they get the product. They will weigh it, they do this quality standard before they pay. Now they can get immediate payments. Once they deliver to the plant will do what is right and, of course, pay them off. This will spur more people to come into mining. Now, of course, if you look on the other side as well, once this is processed, you have logistics, you have marketers, you have all that. So it's something that's really interesting and can create millions of jobs for Nigeria. So there's room in Nigeria for that growth. And, of course, as we promote all these minerals, we create employment, we create value for governments.
Thank you very much. What is the ministry doing about the development of bitumen?
Bitumen is one of the minerals that was also identified in the roadmap as well. Bitumen, as we know, is a major ingredient for road asphalting and all that. And in Nigeria, we import bitumen. We import bitumen into Nigeria to do our roads. And most times, since I joined the Federal Executive Council, we come to council, we want to augment a project. Most time, the differential in cost that you want to bring in is coming from the asphalting, from bitumen. Bitumen, of course, we import it, and of course, it's dollar-based. So dollar changes with time, and then you have to increase the cost of the project. At times, often maybe by 5%, because of this. And we have this bitumen. We have bitumen from Lagos to Ogun, to Ondo, and to Edo State, in that axis, along that sea coast. That's why we have the bitumen belt in Nigeria. What we've not done in the past is to develop the bitumen, and that's what we're doing now. We've done a lot of work already. I think by October, the last quarter of the year, we want to take the data acquired, to the market. We're going to do a bid auction for bitumen. A lot of people have been coming, especially from Canada. Canada is the largest producer of bitumen now. But what they found with our bitumen is that it's even easier for Nigerian bitumen to process. This is a sample from one of the fields. This is oil. Yes, and that's where you get your bitumen from. This is a company that has got this, and they gave me the sample that I keep in my office. Ondo State is the richest in bitumen in Nigeria, but then we got followed by Ogun, then Edo, then Lagos. So we guide you to where the bitumen are. So we have so many slots for auction. We will accommodate as many as 20, 30 investors who will produce bitumen in Nigeria.
This will create jobs.
Oh, no, yes, that's part of what I was saying. It will create jobs, it will create value. Because number one, we'll stop the importation of bitumen into Nigeria. Then we'll also export, because we have more than enough to satisfy local needs and also export to our neighbors. You can now start exporting because they make roads everywhere. And then, of course, bitumen asphalt is what is used mostly on roads.
On a final note, sir, what's your word of encouragement and assurance to Nigerians and, of course, stakeholders both locally and internationally concerning the future of mines and steel development in Nigeria?
Well, the future is bright for Nigeria. Nigeria will emerge from all these tribulations stronger. The economy is being diversified. Now we're coming to that realization that there are a lot of things we can do for ourselves. Not only that it helps us, it helps the economy as well. Nigerians, we need to endure. We'll get there. And Nigeria will be better for all of us. As to the investors from out there, more investors will come because Nigeria is the next frontier. Thank you so much.
It's been a fantastic time speaking with you.
Same here.
Speaking with the Honorable Minister, Mines and Steel Development, Architect Adibute. The program will continue shortly.